I guess if we can move on to number 9, and I'll just jump in here really quick because I've got not much more to add at 9 because I've got Andre Horta at 9 from LAFC. Um, Not uncommon for teams to swing and miss on a DP in their first year or two of existence, but this was like swing, miss, swing around, fall down type of bad.
Yeah.
5.7 million pound transfer fee and a $1.23 million salary. You'd expect something a bit more from somebody coming out of the Benfica system. And again, he was less than enthused to be there. Poor effort level, complained about doing things when he was asked. Uh, Totaled 569 minutes over 16 games. Club sold him straight back to Braga. Not a great look. They did more than make up for it, though. Sorry, Eli. They've they've rebounded all right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but yes.
Yeah, jump on in. Jump on in at 9. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
I do have Locadia on my list. He's not my number 9. But
Okay.
I'm going with another big swing and miss of a striker for a newer club. And I'm going with Akeloba of Nashville SC, who just recently was shipped out. Maybe a lot of people didn't have high expectations for him, but he was a club record signing. So I think that had to put him on the list for me, especially because, all Nashville needs right now to really be the favorite to win MLS Cup is a number 9 that could run with Hani Mukhtar. And Akeloba literally has the profile to do that. He was supposed to be the guy. He was perfectly crafted to be the guy to run with at Hani Mukhtar's pace with him. And he just was so bad. And I know he was very young, and I personally didn't have that high expectations for him. But, just given the price tag, given what he was supposed to be, and given just knowing that he is literally what they needed and he just wasn't able to provide it, that's enough to put it on the top 10 for me. So Akeloba.
I like that one. I think regardless of age or expectations for a club, if you've got a $6 million transfer fee, you've got expectations whether people think of it or not. So I'm all for that one. I think that's a good one. Connor, what do you got?
All right, for me, number 9, I've got Neri Castillo for Chicago. Came
Okay.
over from Shakhtar Donetsk in 2010, 487 minutes, only 8 matches played in. I think it was only maybe half a season. It was another loan. He came in on loan. There was an option to make it permanent. Obviously, Chicago did not do that. What I will give Chicago credit for in this case was they took a shot. It looks like, according to his Wikipedia, he was actually the second youngest designated player in MLS history at that point. So I do credit Chicago with taking a shot there, doing something a little different as opposed to bringing in the 35-year-old guy that's winding down his career. But this one did not pan out. Fortunately, couldn't find a fee for his move as well. But he was also on a couple of people's lists for worst DP, so he ended up just getting on mine.
I will tell you the reason that he's on that list is because he was on loan. That's why there was no fee there. His
Yep.
salary was $1.3 million in 2000 and whatever time he signed for. So
2010. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
so
crazy.
think about those numbers. Like, yeah, they took a big swing. He was on my list originally, and I dropped him because he was on loan, and I felt it was a bit harsh. They didn't give him more time, but he was definitely in that conversation for me too. Yeah, 1.3 mil for 8 games is not a great look.
Yeah, I mean, these are guys that I probably would have considered had I, not had the criteria I gave myself. Because I went with had to be there for multiple seasons. But yeah, I mean, that is atrocious. I also kind of went with more guys that I really watched playing. I can't say I remember watching him play, but maybe because he didn't really play much. But yeah.
Yeah, we jump into we haven't watched any of them, but we're gonna talk about it like we do. That's what because we did stuff like this during COVID and we kept it to like 2010 and on, and every comment was, oh, well, what about this guy? What about that guy? And we're like, the title literally says 2010 and on. Like they played in 1999. So it was good to open it up this time. But Eli, I'll ask you again. What do you got at 8?
Yeah. So speaking of players that I've seen play, players that I think everyone who's a soccer fan in this world has seen play. I originally did not have this person in my top 10 just because of the name factor. I thought, for an expansion team coming into the league, bringing in a name like this is good for, jersey sales and stuff. So I tried not to put too many of those guys in if they brought some sort of value, but I went with Andrea Pirlo of NYCFC. I think of the three major names that NYCFC brought, with Villa, Lampard, and Pirlo, I think Pirlo was the worst. I think he did not fit into MLS whatsoever. And, I got roasted the other day for, being worried about Sergio Busquets coming into the league. And I think of Pirlo as a guy as to why I'm worried about Busquets coming into the league. But maybe I hope Busquets proves me wrong because I loved him at Barca. But I went with Pirlo. I just think his type of game is just not for MLS, and that's just the harsh reality. And he was definitely not good for NYC. And I'm sure as a Red Bull fan, you're fine with me putting him on this.
I was about to say the only gripe I have is you didn't put him higher.
Okay,
but I will say I will say I am proud of myself. I did not take unnecessary shots at New York City players this year. I was respectful. I was good, and I stayed away from them, even though I probably should have put one on there. But I stayed away from them. I was trying to be respectful. But I know Connor's probably got all Orlando City players because he's an Atlanta fan, and I bet you've got one of
enough list to put on there. I think I have. Actually, do I have an Orlando player?
I don't think I do.
I don't, but I had a few on that I looked at, but
Well, joke's on you, Andrew. Orlando's too irrelevant for me to put any of their DPs on here.
Clip it.
That's great.
Except right now. Now they're actually okay. But I can do my number 8 now if you want.
That is what. Yeah, that's more than okay.
All right. I'm gonna throw it back to a name that was mentioned earlier in the show, and a phenomenal name at that, might I add. So it's almost such a good name that I didn't want to put it on my list. But I'm going with Innocent Emagara at number 8.
My boy.
Came over, played for San Jose from 2015, 2016, 13 appearances, 611 minutes, 1 goal, 0 assists for an attacker. I think it was a free transfer, which definitely helped bump him down my list a little bit, but really poor attacking returns for someone that you bring in as a DP attacker.
Can I tell you the sole purpose why I didn't put him on my list?
Yeah.
Is a very niche reason. But I remember when he came to San Jose in FIFA 16, his card was cracked. I mean, he had the best FIFA card ever. He had 94 pace. It was just so fun to play with him. I didn't even care how bad he was on the field. And obviously he was atrocious, but because of his name and because of that FIFA card, I know FIFA doesn't equate to real life, and he's a great example of that. But that's why I didn't put him on. But Innocent Emigara, legend in my mind for the worst reasons, but legend.
I withhold judgment for now.
Okay. Spoilers.